Hey guys, you know what? I've said it before. G-Dubs is freaking wrong. Wrong, I say. It ain't October, boys and girls. It's freaking Necron-tober. So grab your fancy hats, get your curmudgeonly attitude, and let's get ready to walk like some space Egyptians.
How much money would it take to make you spend a night in a cemetery?
Alright, you glorious weirdos, welcome back to another episode of A Tanker's View with me, your average tanker, Tony. This week we are going to take a gander at the legally distinct, not copyright infringing, Necrons. This will more or less round out the Xenos Hover vehicles for the 40k series anyway. There's some others coming up, trust me. And I've got another 40k video you're going to love coming up too. Guess what? It will not fortify.
I am fortifying this position.
So, let's face it, there's not a whole lot of lore in 40k around the armor and its battles. Outside of cursory descriptions, I still think the best tank lore book out there for 40k is Pandarax, with Colonel Deathstrike and Trader's Bane, and the Joe Caro, obviously. Now, the best part of that book is still when Kaldor Drago punches Azrael right in the face, but this is neither here nor anywhere near Sarah Connor, so if you'll allow me to quickly, a few seconds here to shamelessly e-bag. Thanks. So please do like, share, subscribe, leave a comment for me down below. I really do appreciate it, and it really does help me in the algorithm, helps me reach more of you guys, and it helps me get out there. So, you can also find me on the Odysseys, the Rumbles, your Twixers, your Farmer Foot Finders, your Boomer Books, your TikToks, your Instas, all of the major socials, I guess. Signing up for the Patreon and the Ko-fi will get you access to the Discord, early access to videos, and the ability to determine what do you want to see next on the channel.
Money!
Pretty awesome. And I only charge one price, guys, and that's the only price I will ever charge. And as always, thank you for each and every one of you for watching. You're wonderful. Necrons. They got a serious glow up from 8th edition onwards. From soulless, implacable, completely silent machines to bumbling petty tyrants, thieves, emo monarchs, and they finally just got a bit more interesting from a lore perspective, which thank Christ.
Heresy!
But what didn't change were the war machines. And this is, well, where things go extremely poorly for me here on out. And I'm going to explain why. Here's my extremely abridged version of the history of the universe.
Oh, come on!
Millions of years before Holy Terra or even humanity was a primordial puddle under our yellow sun. There were the old ones. Basically, immortal frogs with a penchant of creating races that liked art and making babies. Not necessarily in that order or combination. Get me? Now out there were also another race. They were called the Necron tier. They were particularly morose cancer patients, always kind of wallowing in self-pity, worshipping death, really unable to do anything because their sun was just constantly shitting cancer all over them. Sounds familiar in 40k, just grim dark everywhere. Now, the Necron tier decided to ask the old ones for help. The old ones, being arrogant as all hell and realizing that they didn't create the Necron tier, were like, get f***ed. Yes, in my headcanon, the old ones have a French accent.
That's racist!
The Necron tier, of course, annoyed with frog arrogance, decided to start a war hoping they would quickly capitulate. However, the old ones had a bunch of allies and proceeded to push the Necron tier's shit in. Hard. Unreasonably hard. And so they kicked the Necron tier's ass, and the Necron tier, wallowing in self-pity, decided to poke around their solar system for a bit, and got a little too friendly with the local gas cloud eating their sun, giving everything cancer. So, this gas cloud, turns out it wasn't the only one of its kind. It was a Catan, some sort of gas cloud god that could turn into pretty much anything. And it was far older and far trickier than the Necron tier. So it duped them into causing the Necron tier to make them sweet, sweet mecha bodies. These new gods with their mecha bodies decided to further dupe the Necron tier into giving up their cancer-ridden husks for immortality. Wink, wink.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
But it turns out the Necron tier were just as happy to eat everyone's souls as they were to drink their sun juice. In fact, more so. Souls were much tastier than plain old ordinary sun juice. They further tricked them into turning themselves into legally distinct Silent Man-shaped robots, and the Catan gods ate everyone's bloody souls in the process and then proceeded to start the War in Heaven 2 Catan Boogaloo. This time, the old ones got their shit pushed in until they didn't. And then the Catan turned on each other. The Necron decided they had an absolute enough of everyone's bullshit and decided to take the long nap under the dirt, dreaming of a day when they won't have to tell the whippersnappers of the galaxy to get off their space lawn, because everyone else will be dead. Essentially, they're space millennials. So that's the Necron timeline summed up in somewhere to around 30 to 40 seconds. Editor, let me know how I did on that one.
Not even fucking close. What a disaster.
So they are old. They would be the galactic equivalent of that group of the old men at a gym change room who wander around with their towels wide open and their balls sagging around. No one wants to see it. No one.
What is
wrong?
A very...
And all of their equipment looks alien, yet kind of familiar. That's because function follows form. I'm not being all hoity-toity philosophical with y'all either. Each of the factions in 40k have their own aesthetic based on their culture and fighting philosophy. We all know this. The Imperium's heavy and industrial, metal and rivets. Whatever nonsense this freaking crap with the Tau is, Orc equipment looks like it was designed by a Florida man after taking all of the meth and all of the bath salts. And, well, Necron shit looks like it's all skeletons or pyramids. On a side note tangent, my headcanon as to why all the Necron crap looks like pyramids and stuff. Well, think of it this way. When they were still breathing bags of cancer, they worshipped death all the time and therefore built nothing but tombs. What's the quickest way to build a big fancy tomb when you don't have a whole lot of time to do it in, as due to aforementioned cancer? Stack bricks into a neat pile going upwards to a point. So they became James Cameron's IP theft nightmare, and their programming just stuck with them when they became the Necrons themselves. Therefore, pyramid ships. They definitely didn't steal it from SG-1. No, G-dubs would never do anything like that.
So that was a fucking lie.
Right from the outset, almost all Necron vehicles are anti-grav, with the exception of the Triarch Stalker, but we're going to get to that in a minute. Necron weaponry and defenses are orders of magnitude more advanced than the Eldar even. Their weapons alone harness the fundamental forces of the universe to destroy their foes. Allow me to describe it. So the most common Necron weapons loaded up on their are Gauss weapons. Not like our own Gauss weapons, these are completely different. They are pretty much Star Trek disruptors if you crank them up to 11D. They break targets down to their constituent atoms in record time and are so bloody advanced and exotic they constantly leave the AdMech gaussing how they work. But I'll see myself out.
Yeah, you suck. You just fucking suck. Blows my mind that somebody like this not only exists, but also is delusional enough to post it online.
Tesla weapons. Which, come on, if I had to explain the concept of a Tesla weapon to anyone here, did you not grow up playing Red Alert 2 and 3? Because now Tesla weapons are in...
Space!
Doomsday and Annihilator cannons are pretty much described as oversized coherent plasma cannons, capable of even taking out Titans, but they're so danged large that they have their own dedicated unit to sling them around, and they can only fire in the direction the unit's facing. Nothing really fancy there, big, heavy, super heavy weapon, Titan killer. Nothing new under the sun. Or is it?
No.
Now, finally, particle beams are lasers that freaking shoot antimatter, so, boom, boom, boom. And the heat cannons and heat rays are pretty much the Necron version of the Martian disintegration beam from War of the Worlds. Nothing fancy about that, just a plain old disintegration ray. Zap zap. These are pretty much found in one combination or another on all Necron vehicles, which makes them all extraordinarily terrifying to the average conscript guardsman who, up until last week, the most technologically advanced thing he probably encountered was a hive waste disposal reclamation kiosk, not even getting into their primary defenses because outside of already being built out of necrodermis, which is essentially dumbed down nano-repairable material which acts as circuitry, armor, power conduits, comm equipment, etc. Okay, I guess it's not so dumb, it does everything. But they've also got this thing called quantum shielding, which only appears a microsecond before the munition's impact, be it lasers, RD, or bolters. It don't matter, it just shows up fast enough to explode the munition all over your face and disappear again. Kinda like the first time I got laid.
Ouch, baby. Very ouch.
Now, if you somehow got through the shield and caused enough damage to the Necrotermis to disable it, the fucker just phases out of existence back to its tomb world junk heap for repair. How demoralizing is that? Even if you somehow defeat it today, it'll just disappear back to its hidey hole, silently raging while rebuilding itself to come back at you again tomorrow. It's worse than it's the galactic equivalent to having an ex-wife. It just won't go away.
Emotional damage!
Now, normally this is where I'd peel apart each and every vehicle by shitting all over each one of their varied many flaws, at least from a structural standpoint, but I'm going to save everyone a whole lot of time here because of aforementioned defenses. You got flying skeleton guns, thrones, skeleton troop transports filled with, you guessed it, more metal skeletons, and even bigger skeleton guns. And there's all manner of pyramids slapped together or even stretched to comical proportions. Then you got a bunch of various cookies with bites out of them in places and at different angles. And then there's even a bug skeleton walker or two. They're all the same in the way I'd rip them up because of the flaws were already thought of though, which makes it just nigh impossible. As in, why do you need armor and protection when you can literally transport out and repair as soon as your health bar hits the freaking red? While the commissars everywhere screaming, bro, what the fuck, no hacks? Who needs cockpits when you don't even have freaking lungs? For Pete's sake, it's Skynet if it never grew out of that awkward childhood phase of thinking everything ancient Egyptian is cool as shit, when we all know later on in life when you mature, the Roman Empire is the one and only true way. So, the long and short of it is, they are powerful beyond imagining, and fuck me, G-Dubs actually thought out how to deal with the flaws of their decidedly raggedy-looking operation. They're powerful beyond understanding, and their lack of cohesion and numbers is the only thing probably keeping them from overrunning the galaxy at this point. And the fact that they've got god-tier weaponry just laying around all over the place is just unreal. So the Necrons are going to get 4 T-1000s out of 11 Sarah Connors. Yeah, that works. So, guys, thank you all for watching. Thanks for sticking around this video. Necrons are pretty cool. I'll be honest, I liked it a little bit better when they were still silent and kind of unplackable, but the lore does make them a little less one-dimensional. They are a lot more fun now, and you know what? It adds to the story, and that's what we need. We need some more story, guys.
Yes, definitely!
Because the books, they be amazing. So guys, thanks for coming out. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching to the very end of the video. You are all awesome. I love each and every one of you. You're all legends. Again, please like, share, subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. Join the Patreon or the Ko-fi if you want to tell me what's next. I've got a bunch of stuff coming up, guys. It's been a little bit busy because I, again, had to take off for a few weeks, but I am back all the time now, and content should be flowing forth from this point forward. Enjoy this Halloween special. You all awesome. See you next time.